Pitch is one of the things that I see most singers struggle with at some point. I think that a lot of singers think that they can't sing in tune because they have a bad ear. Either they've been told this or they've told it to themselves. In this video, I'm going to break down 2 archetypes of singers and how and why they struggle with pitch. I'm going to give you solutions for each, and I'm also going to give you an exercise that I developed for one of my students in my private one-on-one vocal coaching sessions who has been working through pitch issues. Regardless of what category of singer you fall into, this is going to help you with your pitch. My name's Kate. I've been singing formally for over 30 years. I've been through decades of vocal training, both in pop and classical. I have a lot of experience as a singer. Throughout my own journey, I have been through many ups and downs. I've discovered and overcome many vocal problems. Throughout my own trials and tribulations as a singer, I've developed a vocal coaching method that will help you guys figure out what is going on with your voice, what the issues are, how to work through them. In essence, I help you to find and sing with your authentic voice. Recently, I was working with a student having issues with pitch, and it made me think of this passage from that book called Musicophilia, Tales of Music and the Brain by Oliver Sacks, a neurologist. In the book, Sacks talks about how when you listen to music out loud versus when you listen to it in your head, like you just hear a song playing in your head, your brain does not recognize the difference between the two. So this got me thinking a lot about the brain and music and how I could help my student with pitch. Before I get into the exercise, I want to explain to you 2 different types of singer archetypes around pitch. The first one is a singer that has what we would think of as a good ear. They can hear the sound, they can reproduce the sound pretty much on pitch, but they might suffer from a little bit of flatness or a little bit of sharpness or having trouble holding the pitch on a sustained note. For this singer, pitch issues are more about posture. They're more about breath control. They're more about placement of resonance. They're more about how your mask is positioned. For this type of singer, these are things that can be easily fixed with the kinds of adjustments that I just mentioned. If you go check out a video that I did recently on when I heard myself singing flat and how I fixed it, that will help solve the problem for that camp of people. I'm going to give you an exercise that's good for those people, but also really concerns people who have a so-called bad ear. I think that what happens is that there's a disconnection between what somebody is hearing and what they want to produce. They have a lack of coordination between the brain, between the vocal muscles, between what they hear and what they want to emit. I said, how can I help somebody through something like this? And I've done it before, and I've explored different ways of doing it. But recently I developed this exercise for my student, and now I've been applying it with other students who are also in the other category, and it's working very well for everybody. And my idea is to rebuild neural circuitry between the pitch, between the voice, between the muscles, between what you hear and what you emit, and between your fingertips. For this exercise to work well, I've discovered that you need to play it. I thought of this because when I was struggling with high notes many, many years ago, it would help me when I would actually play the high note. I felt like my instrument of the voice was no longer just floating in space, untethered. It was somehow connected through my fingertips. So there was a circuit being built between what I was touching physically, what I was playing, what I was hearing, what I was expressing, and how my vocal cords were coordinating to produce that tone. And so the same idea I applied in this exercise. I think that it's very important to have the finger element in here. You want to be able to touch and play what you're singing, and you want to be able to hear it at the same time. This is going to build stronger circuits in your brain and stronger coordination for people who suffer from pitch issues. So what you're going to do, either using an actual physical keyboard or a keyboard on your computer, is you're going to spread your fingers, pinky and thumb, to make an octave, so you can get the high and the low frequency. And you're going to pulse the note, and you're going to sustain your singing note on the same pitch. And imagine that as you're sustaining, each time that you hear the pulsation, you're kind of refreshing that pitch so it doesn't start to flatten. For this, you're going to want to keep in mind the postural integrity. So shoulders back, chest open, deep breath, and a half yawn position, everything feeling tall in your face. And then you're going to also pulse your vocal note. And then you're going to move up chromatically. Chromatically means you're going from white note to black note, going up every single semitone on the piano, as far as you feel comfortable. So here we go. And so on and so on. And you can take time to stop in between. You can also go to where you're typically singing your songs and train around there. So for me, I would come to middle C. It's important to not focus on making a vibrato or making your voice super, super round and colorful. Like, you don't want to be focused on many things at once. And especially with the vibrato, you're trying to train the pitch. So vibrato can kind of fluctuate your pitch slightly as it moves. But here you want to maintain kind of a flat tone. Not flat in the sense of pitch, but flat in the sense of not too much vibration. So it doesn't have to be like a fully supported projected note that's super, super big and colorful and vibrating. You just want it to be in the center of the pitch. That's where you're going to create that neural circuitry. So essentially what you're doing here is that you are rewiring your brain and your body and your vocal cords to coordinate, to know that there's like a specific muscular position. There's a specific vocal cord tension for a specific pitch. It's like when you're doing any kind of exercise, a repetitive movement, that your body knows exactly what it feels like. Your body is going to know exactly what it feels like to be singing D. And then it will kind of stick there. You're going to be training it. You're going to be training your muscle memory so that this is where it goes when it's singing a specific note. And it's less likely to go flat or sharp, or you will feel like, oh, something is different. This is a strategy that you can use if you're struggling with pitch, whether you are part of the first camp of people who are having postural issues and placement issues and breath control issues, and they're in the first category of having a pretty good ear. And this will also help you, especially if you're in the second category of people who struggle with matching the pitch, with understanding what they should be producing. This is going to create a mapping for your brain, a coordination system between your fingers, between your voice, between your muscles, between your neurons. You're rewiring your brain to work for you and to produce music for you. So you're approaching this kind of in a technical way, something that's going to strengthen also what you hear. So when you hear a certain pitch, you'll be able to tell, oh, this is flat or sharp. This down the line can also help you with interval training, getting used to recognizing certain pitches and how they operate between themselves. So from C to E, a major third. Your brain will start to recognize that movement as well. Or Sol, Do, 5-1, So down the line, if you're working on developing a stronger sense of pitch and a stronger pitch in practice, you can also then move to intervals. But first, I would use that exercise to really strengthen those circuits in your brain and in your body. And then from there, you're going to see major, major improvement. These are the kinds of things that I do with my private one-on-one students. I really personalize it for each individual because I'm working with different kinds of people who have different kinds of backgrounds, different goals, and different stories, different histories with their voice. There, I can really go in and diagnose what's going on and see and hear, and then develop a plan and develop exercises that are catered just for them, that are going to help them to unlock their voice, to achieve their goals, to make singing a place of joy and expression rather than a place of stress and problems. But since I've seen so many questions from you guys about what can I do about this or what can I do about that, or can you listen to my recording and see what you hear, I've decided that it would give you guys a lot of value if I opened up something outside of my vocal coaching one-on-one lessons, which are limited, and do a professional vocal analysis. So from now on, you can send me a recording of you singing. I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to analyze it. I'm going to come up with structured exercises for you, just like I did for my student, which I just demonstrated to you guys here, and give you feedback and step-by-step things that you can do to see progress with your voice. And this will be delivered in a video response to you. So if this is interesting for you, you can check out the pinned comment below. And thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you being here. I appreciate hearing everything that you guys are doing. So please leave your comments below. Let me know if you struggle with pitch, which category you fall into, and if this exercise was helpful for you. Thanks so much.